happy with the way you've positioned the art in your home? Designer Tamara Robbins Griffith is here with some amazing ideas you're going to want to incorporate. How are you, hon?
Good. I'm great. And I love art.
Fabulous. I mean, you love art, and I think so many of us, some of us are afraid of it because we don't necessarily know what to do with it when we get home. This is such a beautiful way to position your art.
Well, we're going to go through a few tips and tricks today, but I want to say that art should not be intimidating.
Right.
Okay? It's an area of your home in terms of decor where you can really play and have fun. It's not about function and how you use it. You just sit back and enjoy it. So it should be fun, choosing like what you love and how to display it. And it also doesn't have to be expensive. Like everyone can afford to be an art collector.
Yes.
Because everything I brought today is from HomeSense. And we'll take you through some tips. So this, who doesn't love a gallery wall?
It's beautiful. Well, especially when it looks like this. I feel they're a little hard to do. Well, they're a little intimidating. Like you have to really plan.
So but my advice is it doesn't have to be like an installation that's built over a weekend. You can really choose one anchor piece that's like a bit larger perhaps that you love and choose a spot to put it where there's breathing room around it so that it can evolve and grow over time. You're adding more pieces in an organic way. And you know, they don't have to be expensive. We have framed art under glass starting at $30. And then, you know, you'll notice too, we're using different types of art here. So there are a lot of different types of frames. That's okay to mix and match. We have some textile under glass and as well as painted canvas. Mixed with photography, that's okay. But what is tying it together is a bit of a color palette. So there's neutrals and then there's green, blue, and coral predominantly.
Yes.
So that helps make it cohesive. And then we've added a few extra pieces just for fun into our mix. So throw up a clock in case you want to know what time it is, and also because it's nice to have round shapes mixed in with the squares and rectangles.
It's also good for kids to see clocks.
Good for kids to see clocks.
See, look at that's the way we used to read the time back in the good old days.
Absolutely, make it a teachable moment. And then we've got a wall hanging planter as well in the mix to add something live. And I also love the idea of using the frame almost as a ledge and putting little surprise objects like just resting on top of a frame.
Cute.
It's fun and you can switch it out. And it's like, where's Waldo? Like, what have I placed there?
That's lovely. Okay, so let's move on to the next way that you might want to position art. So what is this called?
Okay, so this is called a triptych. And a triptych is essentially one piece of art divided into 3 sections. So it's meant to go together. You can't buy them separately. But it's nice because it breaks something up that's bigger, and it also gives the illusion you have more pieces of art in your home. You know, but this is the kind of case, because they're part of something larger, this is where you might want to break out your laser level so that you get them properly lined up. And depending on the scale of the triptych, you know, we've got them about 1 inch apart, but you know, you could give them more breathing room if they're bigger pieces. This
is where my dad comes in as a former engineer. He will get those lines right.
Perfect.
He has to.
There's a lot of people who probably want to call your dad right now to help them hang.
He does the picture hanging.
So we love this because, and we can walk to the next one, like 3 is a great number. When it comes to design, 3 is very pleasing. And you know, my 4-year-old yesterday said, 3 is a number. Thanks, Amelia. It sure is. But you know, you can go with an actual triptych, or you can create your own grouping of 3. And so I think that what's interesting about this is, you know, they're not matching. So you could go and buy a series of art where they're framed the same and they're the exact same size. But I think it's almost more interesting when you've done something unique. So we did choose a theme. We said nature. And you know, we're sticking to, they're roughly the same size. They're not exactly the same size. And then we've stuck to one medium, which is photography, but it could be different types of art that could work too. And then you're just hanging it close enough together that it reads as a grouping. They could be also lined up with all the bottoms aligned, and that's still okay that they're different heights. That can still really work.
This is lovely, and I think that we all need to note how low the art has been hung in all of these situations. So you're supposed to be enjoying your art, which means it should be eye level. So someone's going to be sitting in this lovely low chair. They're going to have the artwork right at their disposal, and that's the point. The point is not to have it up there near the ceiling. You want to enjoy it, right?
Absolutely. The triptych is a good example of, you know, it's hung at your eye level is 2/3 of the way up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here, you know, again, when you have a grouping like this, it's kind of more about the grouping than each individual piece.
Absolutely. This is my favorite.
I love this
I
one.
love it.
And
It's beautiful.
Large scale art is a big trend right now. We're
Yeah.
seeing it in, you know, acrylic on canvas, as this is, but also photography, different mediums. And you'd think that you need a big house to have a large piece of art, but it can make a small space feel bigger and more expansive.
Yes.
So we love it if you have ceiling height to hang over a piece of furniture, just to create more of a moment and focal point. So you do need visual weight though, if you're putting it over a console, bench, or cabinet. The piece needs to be weighty and it needs to be wider than the art.
Right.
Okay,
That's
so
a general rule of
General
thumb.
rule that the piece would take up approximately 2/3 of what it's over. So we love this. We've tied, even though this is transitional and the art's modern, we've tied it together with a color palette and we're connecting it. We're breaking up those horizontal lines with something vertical.
Oh man, that's beautiful. I just love, love, love the art you bring in for us, T.